how, with what could y'all say to, that would be life building, to moms, young moms that have little ones
I
underfoot?
think that is when our children were small and during their nap times was some of the greatest personal, sweetest times in the Lord for me. When they were little and when they'd wake up in the middle of the night and seeing those times to rock them back to sleep as an opportunity to pray for them. I still go back to things I feel like the Lord spoke to my heart as I was rocking those little ones back to sleep. That sovereignty of God. This child's woken up at 3 a.m., but this is my opportunity. It's quiet in this house to be able to hear your heart and pray your heart over this child. Well, Sammy, I think that what's so important is what this thing of having a place in it, not necessarily even being it's first it starts with him having a place in our hearts that we say,
Right.
this is where enabling grace for me to live. And I think about the Ephesians 4 where it says, don't give the opportunity. It's translated in our modern translations of, don't give the devil an opportunity. But that word is place, and so we cannot give the devil an opportunity by not letting the sun go down on our anger. But we can give the Lord an opportunity when we give him a place, when we say, I want this to be a part of my life, and then allowing him to work it in.
Everything is heart issues. I mean, when we talk about prayer, and by the way, David, the way I define prayer is not just us talking to God, but I think God talking to us is much prayer as us talking to him.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when I pray, I'm not saying a word. I'm listening to what Mueller did with reading the scripture. God most often speaks through the scripture to us. So, which means that needs to be a part of it. But it's the communion of two hearts. And what it is, I think the communion of two hearts, for that to take place, there has to be some kind of commitment. And we don't need to be legalistic about it. Well, I got to do it this time to this time, and it has to be done at this place. That's legalism. But I think there has to be some sort of commitment to say, God, I need you. I want to meet with you. I want to have fellowship with you. And I think we live in a generation that is so fast-paced that we're easily robbed of that. Yeah. And it's easily explained away. Kieran Wise, we on our DVD, we have this interview with Kieran Wise, and she said something. I was kind of taken back by what she said, because she brought, after we showed this little video of the of this little peasant woman coming all by herself, and then Kieran had written in her prayer diary that she had prayed for a poor peasant woman. And she brought the prayer diary and read it. And, it's just an incredible story of how she impacted. And so I asked her about this. I said, I assume you have a time, a place where you meet with God regularly. And she said, yes. And she said, but I want to say something else. She said, I'm a grandmother right now, and I'm in a good place where my kids are out of the house. It's just my husband and I can do that real easily. But I want to tell you, I had 7 children. And when they were small, that's when I started this. And so, I thought, what shocked me was, we struggled with it with 2 kids. And I thought, 7 kids. Yeah. My goodness. But she found a way, and I don't know what it is, but if the commitment's there, you're going to find some kind of way, some kind of place, sometime. I don't know when. I don't think I need to define that for people. It's just that commitment, saying, Lord, I need you. I want to meet with you somehow under that. And I will say also, husbands, we had Dave and Kelly, and I would really encourage people to go back to that interview with Dave and Kelly. Husbands,
our son and daughter-in-law.
Our son and daughter-in-law, and they have 3 small children, 3, 5, and under right now. And so I asked this question to them: how do you deal with this right now in your life? But one of the things that Kelly said was, I have a husband who helps me. And I just want to exhort husbands, hey, your wife needs some time alone, some time away, not just alone with God, but she needs that. And I think some husbands need to see the needs of their wife and minister to the needs of their wife, and take some of that and give her some time. Now,
one of the things too is talking about time is there'll be times I only have time to read one scripture. I mean, not even a whole passage or half, but just one scripture God speak to me. And I would do Proverbs and Psalms and another book when I had time. But there were times where I would just go to that day and say, out of Psalms 25, like today, or Proverbs 25, and give me something to hold on to today, And so I think that's what we're saying. Like, it's not a formula, but God's word, or even scriptures that He's hid in my heart. There's times when maybe with the kids would wake up when I was going to have my quiet time early, they'd wake up. Did yours ever do that? You thought, well, I'm going to have it, and here they are waking up, and so I think that's the thing too, is that.
Yeah, and I think I shared some of the biblical things, but I think historically, if you look, you find that in every great spiritual awakening, there was some small group of people who were meeting together and they were praying. And the last great awakening in this country was 150 years ago, with the prayer revival, and they had a place that one man by the name of Jeremiah Lamphere said, hey, come and meet, and right at the time that God burdened him to find this place to meet, the bottom fell out in the financial market. So it wasn't just having a place to pray, but having the place to pray was always a part of the great revivals. And I think one reason may be that it's been 150 years is as we have progressed, we've gotten so busy that we don't have time for that. And so I think it's radical to say, hey, you need to look at your calendar. You need to look at your daily schedule, and you need to try to find some things. And maybe, and don't try to make it look like me.
Right.
I mean, if you try to make it look like me, you're gonna have to get on a plane and go all over the world. It can't look like me. It can't look like Pastor Walker. I mean, our situations are totally different. Your situations are different.
So, I mean, what do you do? What do you do during the time when you say you're meeting? You're setting aside 3 hours. You're setting aside 45 minutes to meet with the Lord. Some folks may be listening and they, man, I want to do that, but what do I do?
Well, there's a number of things. One, the first thing that I do is I try to just get still. I try not to do anything, just to be
your
quiet.
Mind as well as body.
Right. Now, that's what I mean. Just quieten my spirit, my heart down, and I can do that in a couple of ways. One is just opening the Word and getting my focus on, as you were talking about, reading the Psalms, Proverbs, something in the New Testament. It just gets my focus on God, on who He is. And because my mind's running about, oh, I'm launching this movement, praying for your family. Oh, I'm going over to the Middle East to preach or whatever. No, it's God. Stop, Sammy. Just get your focus on Him, and then spend some time worshiping Him.